See the class. There you go. I would like to always start with a little nigun, a little song, wordless song, melody, so we can all attune and focus and be together in the same place, same energy. We come from different places, different backgrounds, but also from different meetings and different encounters today. And so we'd like to centralize and just put the energy together so we can be together today, the next hour together. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. It's a simple melody. You can sing with me. You don't have to be a singer. Just sing or clap. Just accompany and bring the energy together so we are on the same place with one purpose together. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Good. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Again. Ay, 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 ay. breath in. Ay, 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 The word Rosh Chodesh. Rosh means head. Chodesh means new. Chodesh also comes from the word Chadash, that means something new. Chodesh means month. And every month, like we do in a regular calendar, we don't celebrate it. I mean, do you celebrate like the first, April Fool's Day, you celebrate every April 1st or the 31st, or maybe the December 31st, New Year's, but we don't really celebrate every month. But in Jewish tradition, we do. And the reason is that behind that new moon that we don't see, there's always new adventures to come, new ideas, new chidushim. Chidushim are novelties. Also come from the same word, chidush, chadash, chodesh, right? It's all the same idea. That's where actually Hebrew comes with a great ancient wisdom. Because behind that moon that we don't see, there are chidushim for us that eventually we are going to see as the moon also grows larger. And as you see, also most of the holidays arrive on full moon. So almost it has the whole process of the first 15 days or 14 days of the month, of the Jewish month. And that's when the full moon is illuminating almost like spotlight, giving us like the aha moment. And that's what we have: Purim, Pesach, Sukkot, just name it. Most of the holidays come on the 15th to Bishvat. It comes on the 14th or the 15th of the month to reveal what it has been cooking and being processed for the first 15 days. So that's kind of a little introduction of what Rosh Chodesh is, because, we'll have a whole class just about Rosh Chodesh. Some of the ones who have been in Rosh Chodesh have been understanding that. So every month in the Jewish tradition brings a different energy. When I say a different energy, it brings a different aspect, because the rabbis understood that Rosh Chodesh, that each Chodesh, each month, carries a different connection with different part of the creation. Name the planets, the part of the creation, like in the animal kingdom, any part of our body as well, right? Any sense. So they're different. Any tribe from the Jewish tradition, when we talk about the tribes in Israel, a letter from the alphabet. So the rabbis started to connect everything. Maybe they were smoking pot, I don't know, but they were really like into something. When they started to connect, that it's not like we are just this. We are everything and connected to everything all at the same time. And we are a microcosm of the whole entire world and the whole entire universe, multiverse. This is infinite, right? That's what we call God in the Jewish tradition, especially the mystical way. We call the Or Ein Sof, we call the infinite or the light of the infinite. Sometimes you don't see the infinite itself, but you see the light from the infinite. You can see a lamplight, you can see the light from the lamplight, maybe you don't recognize the object. So we cannot really see the infinite, but we are reflected all the time and spotlighted with the light of the infinite.
Rosh Chodesh is a portal. Every month we have a little portal in which we start like a new opportunity. It's a cycle. And our life comes from the decisions we make. And every time we make a decision how can I say this, like go through our own, we superar, ¿cómo se dice superar? Overcome ourselves. Yeah, we overcome ourselves. We create like a new reality, like a better reality. Every time we overcome ourselves. And in Rosh Chodesh gives us like a little door. But today's Rosh Chodesh is kind of more like stronger because it's the beginning of the whole year.
Where does this come from? We were just talking to Wendy, one of the girls who helps us, maintain this building in a good shape, right? And Wendy says, so what is today? That actually is spring break. Everyone is gone. There's no activities in the synagogue. The security says you're the only one really doing something. Something must be cooking, And I said, yes. Actually, I couldn't escape this, especially from all the Rosh Chodesh that I could miss. I'm not going to miss this one, and I don't care it's spring break, and I don't care, it's the king is being, wherever.
I pulled in, there was like 2 cars. I said, did I have the wrong day?
Literally, almost everything has been canceled, the whole week.
Right. Yeah.
And I said, no. It's Rosh Chodesh. And Wendy says, what is Rosh Chodesh? And I said, what, Rosh Chodesh? In the Bible, in the Torah, there's one moment that God said to Moses, today, and this is 14 days before they're going to depart, right, from Egypt to the adventurous wilderness. And then God says, today is going to mark Chodesh Chodashim, the month of months. So the rabbis understood literally that this is the first of the month. So in the Torah, there's no names of months. It's just numbers. So they're numbered, meaning, for example, when you say on the first day of the 7th month, you're going to blow the shofar. Rabbis later on understood that is Rosh Hashanah, what we call Rosh Hashanah today, right? But it's always the 7th month, the 5th month, the 10th month. And this is the Chodesh Chodashim, is the first of all of them.
So the first, you see in the 12 signs, which is the first sign? The child of the horoscopy of
the zodiac.
Of the zodiac. What is the first, like the child, the youngest?
What is the first sign?
What is the first sign?
I don't remember.
Do you remember? You like horoscope?
Aquarius.
What?
Pisces.
No, Pisces is the last one.
The oldest.
It's the oldest, the last one. It just happened in Purim. Gemini, no.
If Pisces is the last one,
Yes.
then Aquarius would be the first.
No.
Aries. We're starting.
It's the new moon of Aries.
Oh, so the first one is Aries.
So the last mature, it starts with Nissan, which is the first month. Now, see, we are in the Rosh Chodesh of which month? Nissan. Which if we're going to go to the zodiac, it is Aries. See, is the first, and then when we go to the 7th month, if you realize it's not the 7th month from January to the 7th month, it's actually, is it from now to September, October?
What the
7th month will be.
The 7th month would be September, October, which is usually the month of all the holidays, the marathon.
Right. October is October of the Ocho.
September means from 7. October from Ocho, Octo, which means Ocho.
Yeah, and this is Nissan.
November, yeah. That's why it's so important to understand what Marcela is saying. And I explained this many times. December comes from Dies, which is the 10th. So makes no sense that the Gregorian calendar ends on December when it's the 10th. So then you have January will be the 11th and February the 12th. Then March, April will be the original spring day, which makes sense that, it synchronizes with the zodiac. It synchronizes with the Jewish calendar, which is the Torah,
It is all.
right? And the planets and everything else. So we are more aligned in that way. You see a lot of people do final, like resolutions for New Year's. We did a class with Marcela 2 years ago. We were in Sedona. And we were on New Year's. Everything was closed by 5. So we said, okay, let's do a class, because there's nothing going on in the town, let's do a class. And we did a class about why New Year's resolutions usually usually fall apart. And the reason is that we do it on December 31st to January 1st. And
which is the darkest time of the year. There's no light. So the
Days are
resolutions do not grow. Right now we are in spring. We are in the beginning of the year, which is now the time when you actually make the list. The bucket list is now.
This is and spring makes sense. When things blossom, when things blow, when everything is glowing and blossoming, right? Makes a lot of sense. This is the springtime, exactly, which is also a time of liberation, a time when you remove, the bondage of yourself, right? Everything that we look at the holidays, when we look into mysticism and spirituality, we always look inside. We look in the inner world of us, right? When we talk about, the Israelites, left Egypt from bondage to freedom, to liberation, we talk about our bondage. We talk about our freedom, what that really means to us. Because we are Israel, right? So we need to really look at it. When you clean, the kitchen and you clean everything in your house, you're cleaning yourself. You're actually doing your own cleaning, the self-cleaning, right? You're looking for what is in me that I still need, to liberate, to break the chains, in order to really get to liberation, to be free. And most of the time we self-enslave ourselves, right? I mean, we do self-enslavement. So, as I explained many times, and Nissan, that's a little introduction to Nissan per se, and that's why it's so important. And I didn't want to miss it. It's because one of the things that we can do in Nissan is that we can program. This is the belief of people who work more into spirituality, that during the first 12 days of the month of Nissan, that means today we started Nissan, and then Rosh Chodesh, that it started last night and finishing right now. So tonight already, it starts Nissan first, right? Tomorrow will be Nissan second. So the first 12 months of Nissan we can use in order to allow ourselves to connect with each of the months of the year and program the seed how we want that month to be and how we want the whole year eventually to be. And each month, because it has their own energy, and you're going to have this in your handouts, like if we don't finish today, you can finish at home and you can use this as a good workbook or worksheet. And you're going to see how you can really use this to program the whole year. You can program ahead, right? You program your goals. You program your goals based on your needs, based on your own inner work that you need to do. You know yourself probably better than anyone else. You just need to be honest, radically honest, right? Because if you're still lying to yourself, then this class is not for you. Okay? You need to be radical. You don't need to tell me or tell Marcela. You just tell yourself. But do the work because it really helps. But before even we do that work, which is the second part of the worksheet, I mentioned this many times, there's a work of art, one of the first books of mysticism, called the Sefer HaYetzirah, or Sefer Yetzirah, which is called the Book of Formation. It's one of the first books. It's so antique and nobody can trace actually who wrote it, that people attribute this to Abraham, our forefather. And the reason is that it talks a lot about astrology. It talks about the stars. It talks about the planets. But it's very old. It's not like it's not Copernicus. I mean, this is really older than that. That nobody really knows, even in thousands of years, who really wrote it. And it's very small. It's more actually the books that talk about the book, that are larger than the real book itself. And why they say that attributed to Abraham? And the reason is because Abraham was the one who was sent to watch the stars. If you remember, when Abraham had this encounter with God, God said, look at the stars. Can you count them? And he said, no. But it seems that for the rabbis, it related that Abraham had something with the stars. He was able to read the planets or read the stars. So otherwise, he would say, look at the trees, but he didn't look at the stars. So, Abraham became kind of the first astrologist, in our tradition. And according to that book, each Rosh Chodesh has a connection with a letter, with a zodiac sign, with a sense, with a planet, with a tribe, with the body parts, with the divine name, or permutation of the divine name. If you remember the divine name, the Yud He Vav He, when you see the 4 letters called the Tetragrammaton, usually it gets permuted, right? You can permute, you can put like, let me show you here, so you can see. If you have Yud He Vav He, you have 4, and we have 12 months. So we can permute this, that another one will be He, Vav, He, Yud. Another one will be Vav, He, Yud. You see, you can play around with the words, with the letters.
Let me make it easier.
Yeah.
So, you see, are you familiar with this one? Yud, He, Vav, He? Are you familiar? Everybody familiar with that name? Yeah. Okay, so each month, it's connected with a change, a permutation of the same name in a different way, and it means differently.
And it has
a meaning, and it helps to work on your shadow work, which means the things that you don't want to see from yourself. See, the things that we don't want to see from what we really are, and where are we in our level of consciousness in our life, the things that we don't want to admit, the ones that are hidden even from ourselves. So this is one of the tools that we can use to learn, and the permutations are different, are 12, like a month.
What I wanted to say also about that is that this month, because it's the first one, it's another hint why we know it's the first one. It starts with this,
the name the way it is.
The original name, with the letters in the correct order, right? So that's something to also notice as a hint, as a clue that today it is the first of the first.
You can see it here in your...
How do we relate the Yud He Vav He to Nissan?
Yud He Vav He, it's a different class, but the name Yud He Vav He, will relate actually to almost everything in Kabbalah. Everything.
Well, in your booklet, you will see the relationship. One of the sources for this booklet is the Sefer Yetzirah, the book that he just mentioned. And when you go to the back, you'll see the divine name, and you see the Yud He Vav He, and you can read what it says there, direct flow, which means when you meditate in that name, it's a connection with the divine source. It's a direct flow, which means it's a blockage. When the people wants to, the other day, I'm gonna open parentheses. I had a client in my office, and she was feeling suicidal thoughts. She was Jewish, and she was very young, 17. And she was very lonely in the nights, and because I know a little bit of this, I gave her, do you like praying? She said, yes, I like praying. And I said, so I'm going to show you a psalm, and when you read it, you're going to read it 17 times, 21 times, and you're going to visualize this number, this name. When you are, and you want to feel that you want to kill yourself in the night, you're going to grab your psalms, and you're going to read it in Hebrew. And then she came 2 weeks later, and she said, I'm cured. I'm going to sleep well, and I'm not afraid anymore. And I'm using the tool.
Crazy.
See, does that. So you will think that these are games, but when you use them, you can see that they're really good. They can work. So when you see this one is a Yud He Vav He, it's a direct tool that you can visualize and meditate on, and then you just connect to the brightest piece of you. See? And you unblock it. You can read it there. It says in Nissan, the name is in its original, straight order, like the Rabbi just said. It presents a direct connection to the source. and unblocked by the living of the material world. See, you can see it in the back. You see the first one in the back, right here.
What it says divine name. So, one of the ideas, because when we do these classes, we like to teach something, but we also like to work on things. Otherwise, we didn't do the work, and that's mainly what happens, around the world, especially in the Jewish communities where we do a lot of work. People are a little numb sometimes to this information. Sometimes they are not, you might go to services, but there's no, this is what they talk about. And you might go to classes and not necessarily this is what they talk about. And this is a tool that actually the Jewish, the rabbis themselves in the Middle Ages and even before that has given us. But it has been kind of like put aside because it was misunderstood many times. And unfortunately, this is real work. This is really what we came to this world, and we came, we are instilled and insufflated a soul, right? And the soul has a reason why it's here. It's not just to continue our life, it's to elevate it, to elevate consciousness, to improve, what you were given in this vehicle. So eventually, as you know, Judaism believes in reincarnation. It's written everywhere, has been also put aside a little bit sometimes, this idea, but eventually we'll give the baton, to the next vehicle, to the next life. And we want to give something that is more polished, something that is better, that eventually, we don't have to come back in again, to any incarnation. And we can live in the real root of our soul or real home, which is probably not the earth. Okay? So that's why, if you go now to the second page, what we have prepared for you is a little bit of work. We have some, a little of explanation of what these connections are for the Rosh Chodesh itself, especially for Nissan, right? Whether it's the letter, whether it's the tribe, whether it's the divine name, and each of them has also something for you to relate to. Okay?
Do you want us to answer all of these questions?
Eventually you're going to...
Here or here?
No, the first one. Over there. Yeah. So this says number 1.
So, while the rabbi gives the pencil, the pencil to people, so you can read here that it says Nissan shadow work, which is what you just mentioned. And it's searching for internal corners, things that we cannot see for ourselves. So we saw before that, you can see that there is things that this month is related to, which is the letter Hey. Do you know what the letter Hey is? Everybody knows, right? The zodiac sign, the sense, the sight. And the planet is Mars, the tribe is Judah. And then now the letter Hey says the shadow of speech. How many of you are familiar with the tree of life? We're not talking about the tree of life of the people that were dead, and we're talking about the Kabbalah tree of life. Okay, so how many of you are familiar with the chakras? Yeah, some people, And the tree of life is also the same representation, but the Jewish way. The centers of energy in the body. Yeah. So at this point, the letter Hey, and it's about speech, and is the 5th center, which is here.
If you go to page 1 now, on the first page, right? What it says Hebrew letter, right? It says there, who would like to read what it says? Letter Hey. Anyone who would like to read it? Says speech and breath.
You can read it.
Yeah.
Speech and breath, the simple breath of life. It represents the ability to author a new reality through holy speech by passing the puffed up chatter of the ego.
So which means that the Hebrew letter Hey, which means this speech, and we are now connected with Nissan, and it says, the letter Hey, the shadow of speech. What is the inner script or small talk your ego uses to keep you from being vulnerable? What is the one thing you are most afraid to say out loud this month? So that is the shadow work right there. It's like, what is it, what you're afraid of saying? And the importance of knowing that if we are unbalanced in the fifth center, which is the one that connects to speech, people usually that are journalists, lawyers, teachers, priests, rabbis, if they are unbalanced, they can teach you stuff that and they can take you some places that you don't want to go to, because they are unbalanced, their ego is talking through them, and know their higher self. See, and that's us also. I mean, they're humans, we are them. So let's see, what can we answer? What is my inner script and small talk? Say the things that I cannot say out loud. Okay, let's go to the next one.
You can always, do more at home if you need to, but it's a good work. It's a good work to do just before Pesach.
The tribe of Judah, the shadow of admission. Think of a recent situation where you felt the need to be right rather than be real. What part of your ego was being threatened, and what would happen if you simply admitted your humanity in that space? You know how many times we just want to be right instead of being, what is better, being right or being together or being okay, So
I think
our
it happens
ego,
a lot between husbands and wives.
absolutely.
And also look at what the word comes from. Yehuda, which is Judah, comes from the word Yehudi, Jew, right? But if you look at the root of the word, comes also from Odaha. Odaha means to admit, and at the same time also in Hebrew means to thank. So when you're thankful and you have gratitude, so you're admitting
that you love something and that you had it for me. So I'm able to say thank you because I didn't have it and you gave it to me.
I think
So I'm admitting.
I think admitting that you were wrong, especially to your husband, makes you feel really good.
Absolutely.
Makes you feel really good.
Yeah, especially we are strong women or strong men or accomplished people. I mean, that it's a work. It's a work to do. It's a work to do. Humbleness is part of the work to do. Asking for forgiveness, admitting that we were wrong, admitting that it could have been done differently or better. It's part of growing up. It's part of the shadow. The third. So the sense of sight. Rabbi.
the sense of sight. Remember that in Purim, we talk about things are hidden. God is hidden in the Megillah. Esther means to be hidden. That's the name of Esther. It comes from lehaster, something that is hidden. So the word Esther itself already is a hint to the story, right? Her identity is hidden. That's why we use masks and we would use customs. So everything in Purim, just a month before Pesach, everything is hidden in our lives. And so we are moving from this blindness, as it says here, of the slavery also, to the clarity of freedom. When we are slaves, we have we are like blinded. We have like layers and veils that don't allow us to see, which is a representation of the second to last plague, which is darkness. Remember? Nobody could see anything. Everything was blurry. It was like too cloudy. And sometimes we are like that, to situations, to relationships, to our own selves. Sometimes we judge without even knowing. Sometimes we are into a situation, we don't see anything, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, I understand now. But at the moment you couldn't, right? You were like blindsided, like the horses. So using this inner eye, because remember that we are cleaning Chametz, right? We are cleaning the ego, things that can rise, right, from our own self, from our character traits. So we are using this inner eye to search the hidden Chametz in the soul.
The sides, it's also, the way I see you, sometimes is the way I see myself. I just don't want to, it's kind of a projection.
The movie.
It's a mirror, if you are very, like you judge people easy, like very strongly, usually we have something to do with judgment, not only because we are judges, but also because we're being judged by our own families, like the super ego. In psychology they call it super ego. It's the way our parents used to talk to us. Their level of judgment is the level of judgment we decide. We don't know that first of all, we don't know that we carry it. And then when we get when we realize that we carry it, we don't realize that we can stop it. I don't have to be such a judgmental like it was like my parents were. And also, it's not just only our parents, also our figures of authority. Our rabbis, the priests, the school, the teacher, they were all figures of authority. Our society says you don't marry with this type of people. Society says you do that, you do that. So you place a judgment, your sight, your opinion with your eye. So the sight says a lot of things. Also your opinion about something, and also your fears. Sometimes you are judgy because you're actually afraid. At the end of the story, every single Chametz comes from fear and anger.
I just want to add something to what Marcela is saying, because when she said at the beginning, your sight or what you see is your projection of your own movie inside of you. If you remember every time that we sing and chant out loud the Shema Israel, we have 3 paragraphs after that. Ve've'ahavta, then we have Ve'aya Yishamo, and the last one is about, the commandment of the tzitzit. But at one point it says, when you see the tzitzit, when you see the commandments, right, when you see the talits, it says, Ve'lo taturu acharei levavchem v'acharei einechem, and you're not going to go astray, right? It says, acharei levavchem, first, because of what happened in your heart, v'acharei einechem, and what happened with your eyes, what you see. And there's also a discussion of like, does it make sense, right? If I see something, it's how then I'm going to feel about. But the rabbis say, no. This first of all comes from the Torah. That means actually comes according to the tradition from God. It's not like the rabbi said. No, God says, it's clear. Acharei levavchem, from your heart. And then, so what they're saying is that when you see the world the way you see it, if you don't like what you see, you need to see what color is your heart. They understood that the heart is the one that brings and drives the desires and what you see. So your first work or shadow work is really your heart.
And the door to the world, meaning, you see the heart pumps, right? And energetically speaking, it's like an energy. See, it's like that. So let's do a little exercise. So open your hands right now, and then you just put them in your chest. You close your eyes, and start just breathing, and pay attention to your breathing and how you feel when you have your hands in your chest. You can inhale, exhale, and see how you start feeling like connected to your own self. The heart is the door to the source. It's funny that when you connect with the heart, you're connecting to yourself, but it's also the door of the source, the door of God. Can you feel the difference when you touch your heart? Try to close your eyes. You can calm down. You can talk beautifully to yourself. It's okay. I'm here with me. Hey, Marcela. It's okay. You can put some music, or even move a little bit, just a bit, and see. You can feel protected when you put your hands in your chest. It's a beautiful way to pray. It's a beautiful way to connect and to calm down. No place in the world is safer than this one. No place in the world is better than your heart if you find your way to it. We can do a breathe again. Inhale and then exhale. And then imagine like that heart received all this love. And imagine it like it goes all around you. You can open your eyes now. Who felt it? It calms you down, right? So beautiful. And it's so easy. So it's for free. At least we have the two hands to do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go number 4, and then we're going to jump. Then you're going to get the rest for homework, and then we're going to jump into the next exercise. Just because I know that security is leaving at 8:30, so we'll
8:03.
we just do this exercise. So the planet Mars, okay? I know we don't talk so much about planets, but this is very old, very old. They already even found a picture from 2,000 years ago from a book that came from Philo of Alexandria, who was the leader of the Jewish community in Alexandria, and he spoke Greek. He didn't speak Hebrew, he spoke Greek, and he was very much into what the Greeks had taught them, which is a lot of also astrology and everything, and he drew a picture of the menorah, and on top of the menorah he put the 7 planets that they thought existed 2,000 years ago. Okay? I'm not inventing anything. We are not recreating the wheel. So planet Mars has the relationship as follows. Mars is red, right? It's very fiery. and it also related to fire and action. It's a raw heat and passion. When rectified, I mean the energy that Mars can bring us, when rectified, we use this Martian energy to burn away our ego patterns. Remember that after we find inside the inner eye, we find the Chametz, right? Not only our own Chametz, but when we find the Chametz in the house, the next morning we burn it. If you remember, there is a tradition to burn the Chametz. So here is where Mars comes to do something with us, to burn away our ego patterns. So now we found them. We say, I got you. Okay, now we need to kind of use that fire action energy from Mars to burn it. To burn it means actually to disappear from us.
Well, there is also, you see, in fourth it says, what is your life? Where in your life are you simmering rather than burning bright? Is there a resentment are you holding onto that has fermented into your soul dough? Well, what would it be? What it would look like to code it today? So I'm going to share just a small story to give an example. A small one. You give me 60 seconds and you tell me time.
Got it.
Yes. So, how many times have you heard that shame in front of others, like being shameful, like being burns karma? Have you ever heard of that? Spiritually speaking, if you're being confronted in front of others or exposed, your job is to stay quiet and not defend yourself and allow yourself to be shamed. Imagine that.
That's what to do.
Oh.
That's what the rabbi said. It's spiritually speaking, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You stay quiet and you don't defend yourself and you allow the other one to embarrass you. If that other person wants to embarrass you, that's on them. He has his own karma to work on. But if you're being exposed to that situation, it's part of the job your ego is going through. And the fact that you don't defend yourself and you allow yourself not to be confronting all the time and not always being right, now you're burning that piece of ego that we're just mentioning right here. Am I in the 60th?
You're under the 60. I'm going to use the next 10 seconds you have left. And actually, there is one part of that same story. Usually what happens physically to us when we get embarrassed.
We get red. We
turn red. You see? What color is Mars?
Red.
So you control anger by using, instead of fueling anger at that moment, responding and winning and battling back, right? You burn it with that energy, the fire energy, and then you burn the ego at that moment. So that's called embarrassment. But you can say one less to go.
It's a hard one because everybody wants to answer back. Everybody wants to defend themselves. We all want to, that was unfair. This is this. But if you sometimes in your practice the control of your emotions, because that's actually what it comes down to, the control of my emotions, of not being, just answering right away back, or just like jumping on it. It talks about my level of evolution and my control of my emotions.
But I feel like I'm doing that a lot lately, and I feel like I should. In other words, I'm just eating it.
Well, depending on the situation, because of course, sometimes you need to speak.
I'm not speaking up.
You're not defending yourself.
Right.
Yeah, but that's depending on what the situation is. But because one thing, let me, I went through a very shameful situation years ago, more than 10, in which I was married to this person and he left me. I was married today with the rabbi and all that, and he left 3 weeks later. He left me 3 weeks later, under the hoopah and all that. And then he disappeared. That was shameful, very difficult, hard. Who doesn't want to kill the guy? Right?
But it's amazing that you can share that.
I know, that's why I'm doing it. And then that's when you know that you healed. Because when you're sharing it, you can use your life to teach others and to learn as a learning tool. But also, it was my learning tool at the time. How much did I learn from that? A lot. And I would not repeat it, but I am sure it was a blessing.
Wow,
See?
who you got?
I know. But besides him, it was all about my own humility, my own capacity. It was 3 weeks later, so you had all the wedding gifts there, all the, everything included. And at that time I was kind of public in the Hispanic community in Miami, and even the press went into my wedding. So 3 weeks later, here I was. I didn't know which hole to find to put myself in. But it works a lot in me. Yeah. I remember my Kabbalah teacher told me, go and ask him for forgiveness. I'm like, he's the one who left. I didn't do anything. He said, ask him. And then I went, and of course and I was feeling this humiliation. And then at the end of the story, my Kabbalah teacher told me, are you done? And I said, I'm done. I'm sorry, but I'm not going back to that. I don't know why even you're telling me to do that, right? And then he said, are you ready? So you're done. I'm done. So, okay, what I was doing was helping you to burn your own karma. And then when you're done with this, you're going to find your husband now. And I found him like 4 months later.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I was helping you to burn your own karma. I'm like, I can't believe this, God. So you never meant it. And I said, no, I never did. And I was here following my rabbi or my teacher, thinking that it was because of that, saving the marriage and all that. And actually it was for him helping me to burn whatever it was there, spiritually waiting for me. That's a gift. That's a huge.
Well, that's that old adage, when you're angry at somebody, you're only hurting yourself, because it's that inner anger is burning you. It's not hurting the other person.
I know. I know.
The one thing we learned in the military too, which gets to what you were talking about, is if I can control your emotions, I can control you.
Right.
So until you learn how to control your emotions, I can't control anybody here who doesn't control their emotions.
Absolutely.
Because I can learn how to control their emotions and I control them.
Emotions are key in this world.
So I always told my kids, do you want to give somebody that much control that they have control over you? Till you learn how to control your own emotions, you're not in control of yourself.
Absolutely. Well, that's exactly what the Talmud says, right? Who is a givor, right? Who is a strong person, the one who can control his own instincts or emotions, right?
And then realizing we can't control other people and their actions at all. We can't take that ownership and that responsibility for someone who leaves us or hurts us. That's on them. What is our part in it? Yes.
What we do with that.
That's on them.
Exactly.
Also, it's their own karma. And like going back to the shame, if anyone's going to shame you in public and you don't say anything, they're the ones that look a little shameful.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's on them.
Right.
Spanish has a saying that el silencio otorga.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that doesn't go along with this.
Well, it's
But you're right.
Because there are different things. Marcela always asks, when we have like a little fight, say, who was talking? I say, who was talking what? Was talking your ego? Was talking your neshama? Who part of you was really, which part of you was really talking?
Or the little girl.
Right? Exactly. The little boy, the inner child, that has wounded, wherever. Are you fighting with me? You're fighting with your mom. Who are you talking to? Which part of you is really talking? And that's actually when sometimes actually if you speak up because you need to make justice or anything, even defend yourself, quote unquote, but it comes from the altruistic part of you, the more connected part of you, that is not your anger responding, it's not your wound responding, it's not your ego responding. Sometimes you can, what is called elevated talk, right? You can talk from a different place, and your response usually will not create a battle. It will not create a rage, and also a war with the other person, because you're responding from the top of the mountain place.
It's so beautiful, because when you're two people together, vulnerable in whatever situation, and you get to that space, the connection is so much stronger, it's so much more authentic.
As a matter of fact, we use that when couples want to have some coaching or help. It's important to see most of the fights we have with our partners come from our inner child fighting with the inner child, their inner child, so we're fighting as kids. But we don't see it, right? At that moment, it's my kid, no, because you this and this and that, and it's the kids talking, and it's the wound of the kid, which means I'm not in charge of healing your wound. You are in charge of healing your own wound, and I am in charge of mine. See? So taking responsibility, like you guys say earlier, it is part of the shadow work. See? My son, which I admire and respect a lot, because he has been one of my biggest teachers. I always quote him. I remember I was talking to him and I said, well, you said you're not smoking anymore, because at his teens he was smoking weed, and I did not like it. And then he said, well, and he looked at me like that. He said, well, I am not here anymore to convince you of anything. You don't want to believe, it's on you. I know how my life is now, and it's on you. Which I found it so wise. His response, instead of, mommy, I'm not using or whatever, he said, well, I'm not here to convince you anymore. It's on you, Mom.
You trained him well.
Well,
Yeah, I created two
that.
monsters, this one and the other one. The two little monsters in my house. I don't know which one is worse. Because...
So, to the respect of the time, go just to this page that says 12 days of Nissan. It's very self-explanatory. It says the 12 days of Nissan. Do you see it? Perfect. So this is what I explained at the beginning, and this happens only this month, okay? Next month, when you come to Rosh Chodesh of next month, it's not going to be there. So do the work these days. You have to do only one at a time. So tonight, do the day one. Remember that days in Hebrew starts on the evening off. So tonight, right now, is starting day one. We can do day one here if you want, and then you already have it done. Tomorrow night, you go into the day two. And so on, so on, and so forth. Okay? Until you finish the 12 days. Believe me, whatever you do on your Seder this year, whatever you do for Pesach, whether you do it with someone, you come here, it doesn't matter. You'll feel different this year because you did this work. Believe me. And the year itself is going to be very, very interesting for you if you really do this with intention, with purpose and mission. It is work, because each month you are almost like charging this month with this work, with the energy of the month to come, right? You're taking advantage of the next 12 days as if it would be the whole year. You're planting the seed. So tonight you're planting the seed of how it's going to be this whole month. But tomorrow night, you're planting the seed of how it's going to be the next month. Okay? So you're going to be attuned, and you're going to be really, aligned with every single month throughout the whole year. If you plant the seed now, you're going to see you're going to be harvesting good things. You're going to see the flowers coming, blossoming and glowing and growing.
What is your title? Your sign?
It's like the Hebrew 12 steps.
Yes.
Oh yeah, totally. It's the Hebrew 12 steps. Totally.
What is my sign? I'm a Sagittarius.
Sagittarius, okay. So is it here? So it says here, the energy of Sagittarius, which is the 9th day of the 12 days, is faith, expansion, dreams, and miracles. And the shadow is escapism, unrealistic expectations. Are you?
I've heard that one I have high expectations for myself and unrealistic expectations of others around me, or I have had up until now, because now I'm aware.
Yeah.
So I work.
So it resonates with you.
Yes.
What about you? What is your sign?
With me, that's interesting. I did the Kabbalistic
La
horoscope with,
carta
she
astral.
was a psychiatrist.
Ajá.
And it was amazing, like shocking, but sometimes it's not the same sign as your.
Yeah, I know.
Correct.
So I am a Scorpio, but with what she did, she says, it was like the new moon, she said it was a Scorpio and Sagittarius. And I remember she said that I was like a sheep, but at the same time I could be a wolf. So I had that huge.
What about here? Where is the Scorpio? Can you read it?
Yes,
Is your
ma'am.
shadow control?
Control, fear, emotional intensity.
It resonates with you?
Yes.
Okay,
Look at his face.
so it's interesting, huh? So those are the shadow words for this, you know. What about you?
And Pisces, joy,
Yeah, I'm Pisces myself.
surrender, I don't know.
So by
Yes, hidden purpose, I don't know. Shadows, confusion, sometimes. Avoidance, maybe. Victimhood, I don't think so. I don't know.
Probably already overcome it.
Yeah.
Because it's not that necessarily you're not ever like that. I mean, we are here to overcome ourselves, and you already probably did it. I don't see myself as a victim, but I did a bunch of times.
So one quick word, a takeaway word, just from this class or wherever it is, just one word as we finish today, our circle. So let's start over there. One word. Oh, start over here. One word, Nancy.
One word,
One word.
awakening. Awesome.
Good.
Jill.
Joy.
Renewal.
Peace.
Release.
Calmness.
Connection. I want to come back.
Aw. This was wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Really. Thank you for telling me that.
Any word there on the Zoom before we go? One word, a takeaway. Algo que aprendiste, una palabra.
Vulnerability.
Vulnerability. Okay.
Vulnerability.
Anyone else would like to share one word takeaway? Okay. Thank you everyone for being here. Please continue the work. If any one of the ones who are in the Zoom wants this PDF, just send me a WhatsApp or a message, and then I will send you the link to download the PDF. Okay? Have a great.
Yes.
No, every Thursday. Once a month is the Rosh Chodesh, but every Thursday we have class.
I mean, Rosh Chodesh was here today.
Next week we have a class that is related to Pesach.
At this time?
At this time, 7 to 8 here. Every Thursday,
So
7 to 8.
Nancy is a retired guidance counselor for alternative kids, and I'm a retired assistant principal for emotional behavior disorder. And both my kids are psychologists. And one of her